Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Crimson Pharaoh. I am here to talk to you guys today about the Nat 5 summoning event. We have never seen anything like this in Summoner's War history. You've had 4 chances to get Transcendent Scrolls, 2 through the Summoner's Way, and then the 7th and 8th anniversary event, but we've never ever had anything like this, where you can summon 8 random Nat 5s and have the potential to get just anything. You just get to pick what you want. It's completely insane. I never imagined seeing an event like this ever. It's insane. I haven't gotten any of my top 10 so far, but today I'm going to tell you guys about my top 10 units that I think are great in early, middle, and late game. So all of them put together, it's just 10 units total. I'm going to do everything that I can to keep this under 10 minutes. I've recorded this like 3 or 4 times now. I'm trying super hard to keep this at a reasonable length, but these top 10 are very, very strong. And in no particular order are 4 to 10. 4 to 10 are completely random. The first 7 units I think are all very good, all reasonable picks, but the last 3 I think are ridiculously strong. So Perna is number 1 here. Not number 1 out of 3. It's one of the 4 out of 10 units. She gets speed here. 114 speed, very high base stats, not high defense, but really high HP and attack and speed. Heals every turn that she gets. So you put her on Violent and she's healing multiple times, does very high damage here. Can strip a target here, can stun a target here. This leader skill is really only here for people that are speed running dungeons later in the game. That's the only place I see her in dungeons. But yeah, incredibly strong in Rift Beasts, incredibly strong in Arena and Guild Battles, probably more so Guild Battles and Guild Siege than Arena, but still very strong in Arena as well. Rika, just ridiculously strong in Guild content and in TOA and in Arena. So you put her on Despair, and she's one of the units that I would highly recommend Despair on. There are not very many of those units, so you guys know that I'm not a huge fan of that set, but she's ridiculous on it. Just crazy disgusting on Despair. So attacks all enemies 3 times, decreases their attack speed, and does continuous damage. So she's great in a dot team, but also just great on her own, too. Summons a Dull Knight and attacks all enemies to stun them for 1 turn and decrease attack speed. And this one can sleep targets and put them... so sleeps targets and then potentially gets another turn if she sleeps them. Basically. So just disgusting strong. She's completely insane. She awakens into extra accuracy, which she needs for all these. It's a great thing. Again, high base stats, good everywhere, good just good all overall. Yeah. That's kind of a theme on this list, by the way. Everything on the list has just relatively high base stats, something that it's easy to work with runes, but also stuff that I need it to be easy with runes, but also makes sense that it's really good throughout all of the game, because there's some units that just are really strong late game, and there's some that are really just better early game and just fall off very, very quickly, really. So it's got to be some sort of balance. But anyway, those are the 2 fire ones I have in here in the 4 to 10 area. In here, we're looking at him. Now, a little thing here first. This is not the only reason he's in this list. He's the only one that has this leader skill in the list. I will say that Oliver is incredible in RTA, extremely good later on in the game. But I'm putting Psamathe in this list, or I would put a lot of units before Oliver in this list because it's early and mid. I know Oliver is just way better than Psamathe in RTA in endgame content for RTA, but Psamathe is way, way easier for early game players and middle game players to understand and not have to worry about. He's a great AoE damage dealer, increases the skill cooldown time with a 80% chance when it attacks. When he dies, he attacks with this again, just very high damage, a great leader skill. That's why he's in here over Oliver. I know Oliver's great. I know that Vanessa has this leader skill too, but he is the only one on this list. I think he's just very easy for early and middle game players to figure out, and he has very high damage potential. And he's good later on anyway. Like, this is a strong thing to have in late game, like increasing the skill cooldown time. Like, if you're hitting a Perna team and you hit this skill and then kill the Perna, it doesn't revive. Like, it's just pretty nice. So stuff like that. Nana's the other one. Really, you just see her later on. Again, just really high base speed, pretty good stats overall, easy to build her. This skill, I'm just going to not even talk about the passive, because just with the first two skills, she's very, very strong in early and middle game content in Arena. Guild Wars as well. Wouldn't use this leader skill for Guild Wars, but attacks all enemies and decreases their defense for 2 turns with a 75% chance. That goes up to 100%. And this skill attack power breaks. So don't even think about this. If you get her early on in the game, or you get her from the event and you didn't get any of these other units and you just wanted her, just think about these two skills if you're early or middle game. Like, these two here are enough that you're looking into Arena and Guild content, and this is great. This is great. And if you have a Galleon is better just for this skill. But then when you look at this one, creates a soul stone when the battle begins. In addition, harvests a soul and creates a soul stone when an enemy dies on an ally's turn. Up to 3 soul stones can be stored, and consumes 1 saved soul stone to revive an ally with 40% HP when an ally dies. So her passive keeps her team alive. So that is one thing she has over Galleon. Galleon you can get rid of and he's not going to bring teammates back. She does have the decreased defense AoE and does this and keeps her teammates alive. So, and higher base speed and just really strong stats. So she's very strong even early on. That's it for water. Wind, we go into here and we have Ciara. Another leader skill. She gets accuracy, which is great. She'll put a bomb up, she'll detonate it, she'll kill a unit. Really strong in Arena and Guild Siege. I wouldn't use her in PvE at all. It doesn't really make sense to. She's a PvP unit, but she's so strong, even at early game, that she just belongs on the list. Like, you build her with speed, attack, and accuracy, and she's going to kill something, and your life is going to be just easier for having her. She's really... I wish I had, like, clips to show of her, like, in the background, but she's just disgusting. You can put her with anything. I mean, this is so a global attack speed leader skill. She's so good everywhere. But one team that I will say that she's really strong with is Ciara as leader skill, and then Orion and Perna in Guild Wars. That team has been around for a long time. Late game, end game players have an answer to it. Early and middle game players don't. It's just so... It is so unbelievably strong. That combination of units. Perna is healing them passively and doing big damage. Ciara is doing bombs. She's probably on violence, so she's violent procking and procking through bombs and detonating bombs and doing just atrocious things on the board to enemies. And Orion is super annoying himself, so that team is disgusting. Yeah, Leo as well, very strong. Gets resistance, has good base stats. You don't want any speed on him because he brings everyone else's speed down to his. He is great in Labyrinth early on. Back in the day, he would have just been a late game endgame player, and a late game endgame unit. But now with Labyrinth out, he helps with that attack speed limiter that they have. That stage completely negates that whole stage and does great damage here. He's a great tanky unit, and he's going to help you a lot in PvP content and in Labyrinth. Maybe people consider Labyrinth PvP. It's kind of like PvPvE or PvE. It's like, or P plus P plus versus E. P plus P versus E. Player and player versus environment. Like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there's a proper thing for that, but he's strong. Feng Yan is the other one. He's disgusting. 30% crit rate here. Pretty good stats overall. This increases his attack bar anytime he's attacked. Counterattacks, recovers HP through continuous healing. He does defense breaking here. You can put him on Violent. You can put him on Vampire even. He's actually a unit you can put Vampire on and he'll be viable, like Vampire Endure maybe, or Violent Endure, because you want resistance on him to make sure that he is not getting controlled. If he gets Oblivioned, he's really good. When he's not Oblivioned, he's even better. He's just insane with the passive on there. He's completely disgusting. So, yeah. And then we're into the top 3 now. So those were the 7. We'll walk through those real quick. That was Perna, Rika, and Psamathe, and Nana, and Ciara, Leo, Feng Yan. So now we're looking into the 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. So 3rd place is Verad. He is completely disgusting with Rika in arena content, RTA or arena. Probably more so arena, where you can control the pace of battle. But even on arena defense, they're very strong together, because you have to control both of them. He will decrease your attack bar to 0 and freeze you. If this skill freezes AoE, if he's on violent, he's going to be turn cycling very quickly. You're going to have Rika on Despair. She's going to hit multiple times, 2 different AoEs as well. She's going to be stunning. Like, they're completely disgusting together. He makes TOA a breeze. TOA hard is nothing when you have Verad. A more free-to-play option for him is the Light Elven Ranger. Or not the light one, that'd be cool. The Water Elven Ranger is kind of like him, a free-to-play version, but Verad is insane, completely insane. And like me saying that there's something that can replace him, like he's still so much better and has a nice leader skill here too, that I would take him in a top 3 over other units. Now Perna is, you could say Perna could have a spot next to him as like 3rd and 4th place battling for that, but I feel like his contribution in TOA and Arena outweighs Perna's contribution in Guild Wars and Rift Beasts, because he makes it easy. He makes it so that early game players can just have crap runes on him, and they will clear TOA hard way earlier than they should, just because they have him. And that's huge, getting those rewards early on for those players. But Perna is very close to Verad on this list. Bastet is number 2. Another global leader skill here, just good base stats. Increases attack bar by 25%, creates a shield and does an attack bar buff for the team. This attack attacks all enemies 3 times, decreases defense, puts a glancing hit debuff on, and disturbs HP recovery. And it has an 80% chance to hit it in land stuff, so it's going to land a lot of this stuff. And this one attack bar breaks, so she's disgusting in RTA, Arena, Rift Beasts, Guild content if you want to, but she's better in Arena. It's kind of funny, like, I would say Perna is better in Guild Wars and Verad is better in Arena, and it's because of the number of monsters in the team. It's like Perna has just a whole different set than Verad does, but because Verad has that extra unit in Arena, it's easier to support him and make him do what he needs to do. Whereas it's harder to use him in Guild Wars, but it's like the opposite for Perna. He's easier to use when there's less units on the board, but when you put him over into Arena, enemies have that extra unit to throw in, extra team synergy they can build to deal with a Perna, whereas it's harder to deal with a Verad. Like, the only way to deal with Verad is to control him or have immunity up on your team constantly. Like, that's the only thing you can do against a Verad. And he's going to be built tanky. He's going to be doing some damage because of the defense-based skills that he has, and it's, yeah. But Bastet is completely disgusting. You can put her on Swift, make her go first in PvP content. You can put her on Violent in PvE content for the Rift Beasts and get this up as much as possible, get these debuffs on as much as possible, and stuff, and yeah, so she's incredibly strong, just really, really strong. And the first place unit should be no surprise to anyone. She is, I think, the best unit in the game out of the fire, water, and wind elements for not just early, middle game, and late game players. Like, even into the end game RTA, she is still really strong. If she's the first unit you summon, she's very likely going to be the best unit you're ever going to get, because when she goes first, she decreases attack bar by 75% of all enemies. She can decrease defense if your attack power is higher than the enemy defense. And that attacks all enemies. And she does an attack speed buff as well for allies. This one changes beneficial effects into continuous damages and inflicts 15% extra damage for each harmful effect on the target. This one decreases attack speed as well. When she gets off the beast, loses half of her HP but doubles her damage, loses a little attack speed as well, and does massive damage here. Still does damage based on harmful effects. This one hits very hard. She's a completely solid unit. She gets resistance as well. Just really, really high base stats here too. She's easy to make the fastest unit on the team. She's insane in Giants if you get her early on and you're building a Giants team. She's very, very solid. She'll help you a ton. She will help you in TOA as well with decreasing that attack bar, doing high damage. She will help you in Arena, in RTA, in guild battles, in so many things. She is so good. So that's my list. I'm gonna add in something real quick. Like if you have all those, the unicorns and the druids are really, really strong. Again, Oliver is very strong. Hathor, Ganymede are very strong. Hathor isn't as meta anymore, but she's still a really strong unit. Although the Fire Hypno Meow, the new Fire Cat, is potentially just a replacement for her that does damage, so I wouldn't go too far in on Hathor. But yeah, anyway, there is other good stuff. That's just my top 10. You guys can feel free to tell me yours if there's something in the list you would switch out, or stuff like that in the comments section. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody gets what they were hoping for from the event, and I'll see everybody next time.